The Green Inferno di Eli Roth, voto 8. Torna il regista di Hostel e di Cabin Fever con un nuovo horror. Questa volta si parla di cannibali e il riferimento a Cannibal Holocaust è ovviamente super voluto. Mi raccomando, guardate questa recensione fino in fondo perché alla fine c'è una sorpresa specialissima, e cioè interverrà Eli Roth in persona. Il film funziona molto bene, è divertente e ansiogeno e terrificante allo stesso tempo. Non sbraca quasi mai, solo una volta direi che deraglia un pelino ma subito si rimette in carreggiata, e offre tutto quello che ci si può aspettare da un film del genere, soprattutto da questo regista, ma allo stesso tempo riesce ad avere molte chiavi di lettura su argomenti abbastanza importanti come appunto l'attivismo, le pratiche barbariche che vengono applicate appunto da popolazioni indigene e quanto sia lecito o meno interferire, il disboscamento dell'Amazzonia, e quindi tutta una serie di argomenti che vengono toccati dal film, non vengono approfonditi ma comunque ti lasciano vari spunti di riflessione, che è una cosa molto interessante, anche se va totalmente al di fuori di un film di questo genere, che comunque è un film horror abbastanza spinto e abbastanza incentrato proprio sul divertimento, ma di quello diciamo grezzo, splatter. Anche se devo dire la verità, mi sarei aspettato anche un po' più di splatter. Forse non hanno voluto usare troppo, forse sono stati limitati da scelte di marketing dovute al rating americano. Ovviamente quando un film riceve dalla censura un divieto troppo alto è difficile distribuirlo, è difficile pubblicizzarlo e ci sono problematiche per rientrare nei costi. Cosa che è successa anche in Italia, dove si è beccato un vietato ai minori di 18 anni, che però diciamo che non fa altro che confermare il valore forte di un film horror. Comunque vogliamo vedere un film horror, vogliamo vedere come si deve. Evidentemente la censura in Italia ha deciso che certe scene erano di troppo, probabilmente per il realismo del contesto, e quindi si è beccato il VM18. Comunque parliamo di un argomento realistico, quindi tutto rimane sempre abbastanza plausibile, e anche se i personaggi e la storia e le scene a volte hanno qualche virata un po' nel humor nero, ci stanno, e appunto riesce a rimanere coerente col suo tono. Merita sicuramente una visione. Se poi siete dei fan di Eli Roth e del suo stile, non potete perdervelo assolutamente. Inoltre di film sui cannibali non se ne vedevano da tanto, e quindi è un punto in più per l'originalità di questo film. Ma vorrei lasciare la parola per l'intervista multipla lampo. Sto dando adesso il nome a questa cosa che ho già fatto altre volte, ve la ricorderete, ma questa volta ho degli ospiti di eccezione, il cui intervento è stato possibile grazie a Koch Media, che ci ha invitato appunto a vedere il film in anteprima, e quindi è stata anche una bella occasione di aggregazione, e il cineforum post film è stato estremamente divertente. Purtroppo ve lo siete perso, magari per una prossima volta potremmo registrarlo, che ci starebbe tutto.
Beh, a me è piaciuto perché comunque riprende un po' il Holocaust e poi rivedere tutti i film a tema cannibale, e gli effetti sono anche belli volutamente resi in maniera abbastanza
socialista.
E inoltre la vera chicca arriva adesso, e cioè grazie a Koch Media abbiamo avuto la possibilità di fare una nostra personale intervista via Skype a Eli Roth, e queste sono le domande a cui lui ha risposto.
Hi Paolo, ciao.
Ciao. I have to tell you, I really admire your work, and I'm a fan of you. And when I was watching the movie yesterday, there was something that really surprised me. In the scene when the first guy gets botched by the Indios, it reminded me of something I saw in my life when I was in Haiti, in a voodoo festivity. They were doing the same with cows, and that scene was very realistic to me. Did you get inspired by some documentary or something you saw in real life?
Yes. You know, I very much based the deaths. I wanted everything to feel real. So we looked, the whole look of the village and everything, we studied from National Geographic from the 60s. It's fiction, but we took elements from tribes in Brazil, Amazon tribes in Venezuela, Peru. But I also looked at the rituals of what they do, what these tribes do to invaders, and studying from Native Americans and tribes all over Africa, Amazon. And also there's a book that I read recently called Savage Harvest about the disappearance of Michael Rockefeller in 1961 in New Guinea. And they describe in detail how the headhunters killed him and hit him in the back of the head and split from his neck down to his ass and ripped him open. And whenever they kill somebody, it's a very specific ritual that they do the same way every time. So I looked at different rituals of tribal rituals of what they do to invaders, and getting the biggest one first, getting the eyeballs, keeping them alive long enough to scare the others so that they feel the pain the entire time. These are all things that the tribes did. So even though it's made up, I'm glad you said that, because I wanted it to look and feel very real. And so I pulled different elements from different tribes and different headhunter tribes and native tribes on what they would do. What is the worst punishment they do to their enemies?
Well, good job, because
yeah, and also it happens to the nicest guy. You know, the one that's the really nice guy that you think will be there. It'll be the two of them escaping at the end. You're just watching it going, why? ¿Por qué? You know, what's happening? Why this guy? That's what makes it so horrible. And it just doesn't end. That was the scene that a woman in France got up and left, and she fainted.
Yeah.
But she was also French, so, you know, they're pussies.
One more thing, that this is funny. At a certain point in the movie, I thought the main inspiration was thinking about cannibals having the munchies. And then I read about Connie 2012, and so I want to ask you, which was the major inspiration for you?
The first inspiration was stoned cannibals get the munchies.
I knew that.
You knew it, of course. And I told the idea to the director Diablo Cody, who did, you know, Juno, and because she had gone to see Hostel 2 for her birthday party 2 years earlier. It's like she loves Hostel 2. And I said to her, I have an idea. I said I want to do like Cannibal Holocaust, like Cannibal Ferox, like a real Ruggero Deodato, Umberto Lenzi, Sergio Martino, Joe D'Amato, Manuel the Last Cannibals, like a real cannibal movie. But my twist is stoned cannibals get the munchies. And she said, Eli, if you don't make that movie, your life will be a failure. You have to make that movie. And so that was the inspiration. And after I wrote the first draft, Coney 2012 happened, when everyone was trying to shame you on YouTube, going, what's wrong? Don't you, I mean, this is over 3.5 years ago. Don't you care about, you know, child soldiers? Like, everyone has to tweet the video or they're a terrible person. So I thought, what the fuck is this? You know, nobody knows about this 2 days ago, but now everyone is so, we would say, sanctimonious and self-righteous and, you know, trying to hashtag shame you, going, you've got to tweet this. But that's why we put the scene of him jerking off, because, you know, that the leader of that movement had a mental breakdown and was seen like masturbating on the street in San Diego. So it's all about, and he heard about the movie, and we've talked about the movie, and he actually talks about how so many people were retweeting the video, not because they cared, but because they want to look like they care. They want to appear as caring. It's not even about the cause. It's just it's looking like you care. And even for the kids in Green Inferno, it's not that they want to save the Amazon. They want Twitter followers. They want to be retweeted. They want to be trending. They're most happy when they're on the homepage of Reddit. Like, that's it. It's not even about saving the Amazon. It's about getting on Reddit. So that's what the movie's really about. It's about these type of kids that are doing it to look good. But that first inspiration was Stone Cannibals Get the Munchies.
Thank you.
You know, there hasn't been a movie like this in theaters in Italy, really, in almost, you know, 35 years. So it's really great that a new generation gets it and likes it and will enjoy seeing it. I think people are going to be shocked. Green Inferno is my mic drop. I don't know if you have that expression. Like, drop the mic, walk off the stage, we're done. And, you know, the Italians, you guys created this. This was started by Umberto Lenzi in 1972 with Man from Deep River, and then went to Deodato with Ultimo Mondo Cannibale, and then it went to Deodato with Cannibal Holocaust, and Ultimo, which I think is a great movie that I didn't see till recently, Michele Massimo Tarantini, one of my favorite directors. I always say there's Tarantino and Tarantini. Michele Massimo Tarantini did a movie called Massacre in Dinosaur Valley, which nobody knows is a cannibal movie because it doesn't have, it says dinosaur. I thought it was a dinosaur movie. In the horror, there's like the classics. People always put them at the bottom of the barrel of movies. And I think it's very unfair. You know, I think that there's a lot of animal killing in the movie, certainly in Ferox and Holocaust, and people cannot get past that. But if you can look past it, because the truth is that when you saw a great Western and a horse falls down, they had to shoot that horse. Those animals were all killed once the legs were broken. They would break the leg to get that fall. So there were many animals that were treated cruelly in movies, but people don't see it on camera the way they do in these films. But if you can look past it, there's a dangerous type of filmmaking. You know, when Sergio Martino went in Sri Lanka in Mountain of the Cannibal God, when Deodato and Lenzi went into Colombia for these movies, they were crazy. You watch these movies and go, these were made by sociopaths. These people are psychotic. How could they do this? And I miss that type of filmmaking. Also, there were other directors, Werner Herzog for Aguirre, The Wrath of God, and Fitzcarraldo. Francis Ford Coppola with Apocalypse Now. Mel Gibson, Apocalypto. I think that what these guys did, what Deodato, Lenzi, Martin was on that level. Now, Deodato apprenticed under Roberto Rossellini and Sergio Corbucci. So Cannibal Holocaust, if you look at the DNA of that movie, it's taking the Italian neorealism of Rossellini and the violence of Rome Open City with the brutal socio-political violence of Sergio Corbucci. And it's no accident that 35 years later, people are still talking about Cannibal Holocaust. It's such a shocking and realistic film. I wanted to make a movie that looked and felt dangerous. I feel that Hollywood movies have gotten too safe. I think that all the horror movies look the same. I want to entertain. I don't want people to see a movie and feel like they're going to school, but I do want a movie that you can watch again and again and again and again, and after the blood stains your eyes the first viewing. It gets in your eyes and that's all you can see. But I like movies that you can watch again and again and again and again and see other little things that are in there. And all of those movies, the best horror movies and violent movies have that political commentary somewhere in there. I'm sure even in Massacre in Dinosaur Valley, there's something political about Michele Massacre. I don't know what it is, other than hot, naked Brazilian girls that get eaten, but I'm sure it's in there. Green Inferno was so inspired by my love. This is my love letter to Italian cinema. So to actually have this movie coming out in cinemas in Italy means everything, and I cannot say thank you enough for your support, because it's the only way fans are going to get to see it. So thank you so much, all of you. I can't tell you how much it means to me. And we'll see you on the next one. Ciao.
Cinefx. Quando Eli Roth disse ai suoi produttori che voleva girare parte del film The Green Inferno nelle foreste del Perù e del Cile per avere gli abitanti del luogo come comparse, i produttori gli dissero: Eli, va bene, però prima magari dovremmo spiegare a quelle popolazioni che cos'è un film, perché molti di loro non sono mai usciti dalla foresta. E Roth disse: ok, va bene, organizziamo e facciamo. I produttori gli dissero: tranquillo, ci pensiamo noi, abbiamo portato un generatore, un televisore, gli faremo vedere il film. Dopo un paio di giorni sono tornati e hanno detto: oh, tutto a posto, il film l'hanno visto, gli è piaciuto, sono contenti di far parte del film. E Eli Roth gli chiese: ok, ma che film gli avete fatto vedere? Il Mago di Oz? Guerre Stellari? No, dissero i produttori, gli abbiamo fatto vedere Cannibal Holocaust. Ma come Cannibal Holocaust? È uno dei film più violenti e sanguinolenti della storia del cinema. E i produttori gli risposero: tranquillo, l'hanno preso per una commedia. Gli è piaciuto, hanno riso un casino e sono entusiasti di far parte del cast del tuo nuovo film. Come cambiano le cose, le culture, il pensiero della gente a seconda di dove vai nel mondo. Da noi l'hanno censurato Cannibal Holocaust e loro l'hanno preso come commedia. E io sono qua apposta in una foresta cilena per voi, per questo CineFX. In realtà non è vero, sono in un parchetto milanese. Però andateci voi in mezzo ai cannibali per fare un video per Paolo Cellammare, e vedere se sareste capaci. Comunque fa paura anche questo parchetto.